this time, I will now invite Mrs. Joy Adamson, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment, to deliver tonight's welcome address and opening remarks.
Thank you. The Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados. The Honorable Charles Griffith, Minister of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment, and other cabinet ministers. His Honor Arthur Holder, the Speaker of the House of Assembly. The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, as well as other ambassadors and high commissioners. Her Honor Cynthia Ford, Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. Members of the Senate, members of the House of Assembly, Cabinet Secretary, Permanent Secretaries, and related grades, management and staff of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment, chairpersons, principals, tutors, and facilitators of the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology, the Barbados Vocational Training Board, and the Barbados Community College. Project Dawn inaugural graduates, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my pleasure to bring the welcome remarks to the first graduation ceremony for Project Dawn. Under the guidance of our minister, the Honorable Charles Griffith, we reconstructed the Block Committee in June 2023. Now, this committee has been ably led by former Youth Commissioner Marcus Stephen, now the project coordinator for the Block Transformation Unit. He was ably assisted by Mr. Shane Haynes and Hassani Newton. Now, Project Dawn now falls under the Block Transformation Unit. The committee has visited several blocks and areas to interact with young persons across the island. Through several meetings with many groups, this committee was able to identify persons and get referrals from various entities, such as rehab groups, the Barbados Police Service, educational institutions, guidance counselors, members of the Parliament, and our own youth commissioners. Persons identified were interviewed and directed into various vocations such as farming, landscaping, hair braiding, car valet, cosmetology, just to name a few. You will learn of all the programs during the presentation of scrolls this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Block Committee also had the opportunity to conduct presentations at Verdun House, where they were able to identify individuals who could benefit from assistance. Subsequently, assistance was provided by an individual who later volunteered his services to the committee to help persons register their businesses and better understand filing for their taxes. We will have the opportunity to meet that young man, to hear his testimony, and during this ceremony, and to see what he has given back to the Block community. Through programs, events, and partnerships, my ministry presents a diverse range of opportunities. We provide the young people and members of the communities with a platform to learn, to develop, to be heard. We are equipping them with the tools to have a positive impact on their lives. Now, this evening, we are recognizing over 235 persons who have graduated from the Project Dawn program. And these programs, 12 programs at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic, 7 programs at the Barbados Community College, 7 programs at the Barbados Vocational Training Board, and we also conducted a program at the ministry in hair braiding. Congratulations to all of you graduates. We look forward to hearing your stories. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure by the end of these proceedings, you too will feel the sense of pride that we at the ministry feel for Project Dawn. We are proud of this program and its achievements and will continue to support the Block Transformation Unit, building tomorrow, today, block by block. Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Mrs. Adamson. Project Dawn was formed out of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment's Block Transformation Unit. Please turn your attention to the screen for a short video presentation, which will share an overview of Project Dawn and its achievements thus far.
Project Dawn is an initiative of the Youth Development Program in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. Its aim is to address deficiencies and other social development challenges that face youth on the block. Unemployment, marginalization and incidences of crime and violence are some of the challenges that Project Dawn seeks to address.
In 2023, there was a need to give a rebirth to the block committee to assist youngsters who lime on the blocks across Barbados.
Everybody have their own space, and if you feel comfortable liming on a block, it's not a problem. But it's when you get on the block, it's what you take to the block and what you take in front of the block. And we see a lot of positive because we don't go looking for negative.
The program is growing, and there's a need for us to continue this program to provide that opportunity for our youngsters who are on the blocks that maybe by not fault of their own require a second chance. And government is doing all in its power through this ministry to ensure that we continue to reach out to those youngsters and make sure that at every step of the way we're holding their hands to make sure that success is the end result of all of the interaction and all of what we're doing here at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment.
This multifaceted program has seen the team provide opportunities for persons to identify and participate in certified training, as well as develop entrepreneurial skills and start businesses.
We have provided equipment for guys who want to do landscaping. We provided technical assistance for those persons who want to engage in farming. We provided an opportunity for those youngsters on the blocks to interact with our educational system, i.e. they have source training at the SJPI, the Barbados Community College, Pomerine, and the Barbados Vocational Training Board. Meetings were held with the three institutions that I mentioned before to see how we can have a collaborative effort working going forward. In addition, we have source qualified tutors to provide training opportunities for these youngsters where they're at. So we're doing art, we're doing a number of training programs at locations within the community.
Project Dawn has recorded a number of success stories since its inception in 2023, including personal growth, accessing training, and starting businesses.
We have started 16 businesses coming out of Project Dawn, mainly in landscaping. Guys who were laid off during the beautification project came to us and we assisted them in setting up their businesses. And after setting up the businesses, we give them equipment to help ply their trade so that they will be better equipped to feed their families.
And the skills that the young folks out there that probably want to further or open up one business to learn something different.
The value and impact of Project Dawn for many has been very personal and even beyond expectation.
Certain that the offerings of Project Dawn, as put together by the minister and his team, are excellent for all those who have shown that interest. And I'm happy to see so much already this afternoon. This is a welcoming and refreshing opportunity, and I hope that you make the best of it, understanding that you now become a student of the premier technical vocational educational institution in this country. Make best of this.
We would really love to thank Project Dawn for giving us this opportunity. Young people like us, more specifically this opportunity to gain further experiences and laying the groundwork for us to move further on in life.
Once it's something that we believe that is viable, we're gonna work with it, because at the end of the day, our main aim is transformation, empowerment, just keeping it and building Barbados tomorrow, today. And we're gonna do it block by block.
This is a call as the Minister of Youth and Sports, and by extension government, for all of our citizens and corporate Barbados alike to be involved in the process. Help these young persons to grow, help their businesses to grow. Show them that we care in a way that is not normally seen, because there's a lot of persons who believe that our youngsters who are on the blocks are only involved in nefarious activities, only involved in negative activities, but they're showing us by embracing that basket of deliverables that is being provided through the Block Committee and Project Dawn. They're able to chart their own course if provided with an opportunity to do so.
I think we can do better than that. And I think that gratitude should be extended to the Block Transformation Unit and all those involved for the work that they continue to do in our communities. And we have seen the impact that it has had, not only on each individual, but on our communities. At this time, we will now invite Mrs. Andrea Titus, Principal Youth Development Officer, to the stage to present the first set of certificates to the graduates from the Barbados Vocational Training Board and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment's hair braiding courses. These young ladies successfully completed the course, which was held at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. Latonia Bell. Tashina Burgess. Tashina Burgess. Leandra Bolden. Ruth Boyne. Najalia Brathwaite. Soraya Gordon Chandler. Destiny Green Craig. Letitia Hackett. Stacy Ann Hall. Jadicia Jock. Janira Maynard. Azakia Musa. Khalifa Rock. Tanya Sargent Barker. Keturah Watson. Kristen Williams. Congratulations to all of those young ladies. Next, we welcome those who have completed courses held at the Barbados Vocational Training Board. I will begin with those who have completed a course in barbering. Rossi Nichols. Shaquille O'Neal, or Shockley, sorry. Naisha Otterson. Next, we have those who have completed a course in tiling. Shalisa Critchlow. Selwyn Mears. On to braiding and weaving. Steviana Hyde. Rochelle Levine. Latoya Morris. Sarah Thomas. And now on to interior decoration. Christina Anias. Dion Maynard. Shamika Harewood. Katrina Blackman. Zaria Rogers. Leona Brathwaite. Mario Fraser. Cassandra Small. Jaleesa Murray. And we move on to Bobcat operations. Richard Allen. DeCarlos Norville. Jason St. Hill. Jair Mears, sorry. Khalil Clement. Alicia Cumberbatch. Chad Graves. Chad Boyce. Shafan Jordan. And Trey Lynch. On to nail technology. Shakir Ennis. Nikita Aline. Brianna Marshall. Gabriella Critchlow. Tonaya Walcott Harris. Rhea Hoyt. Tamara Francis. Adonna Maynard. On to wig making. Michaela Russell. Shamika Merritt. Stacy Moore. Shakina Jilks. Ashonda Payne. Sharika Waterman. Whitney Doyle. Hannah Holford. Tiana Best. Kikisha Bennett. And finally, dressmaking. And we have Brittany Gill-Denny. Thank you, Mrs. Titus, for your assistance. Another round of applause for all our graduates, please. What better way to learn about a program than to hear firsthand from a past participant? With that being said, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen once more, where we will have a video testimonial from Mr. Corey Carter, who was able to benefit from Project Dawn.
My name is Corey Carter. I guess a bit about me. Chartered accountant, 34 years old, father of two. Two daughters, they're 6 and 4. Yeah, and I actually got a hold of a flyer. So, and at that stage in my life, I guess call it a bit of a rough couple of months. So, you know, bad choices and even worse consequences at that time. So I was really just in a bad space, in limbo almost. So I just like, let me contact these people. So my connection with the unit, I would say, changed the trajectory of my life in a very positive way. I can't remember the exact date that I would have received the stuff, but I know it's probably around the middle of last year or what's not. And so I got the cell phone and the laptop, and I was able to do some more consulting work because I actually had the tools, you know, actually set up interviews really, because I had the current position I have now on that very laptop is how I would have done the interview. So a lot of things would not be possible that I have now if not for my connection with them. And I also, I would say, do some volunteer work with them, and that I find it very fulfilling. I help the different persons who are desirous of assistance to meet the criteria. You know, for the criteria, you need to have a business register, you know, and even though the pitch is that, you know, it's only $104, but it's online. Right. And you see some of these persons don't even know how to set up an email address. So I would have worked with people at Vernon House, setting up getting them the email addresses that they will need, and then creating the account on Kaipo. Marcus will call me, and I would come in when there are persons who will come here and meet me to set up their business. And I keep in contact with these people after too, to make sure, you know, they are actually doing things that will help the business grow, and they just, you know, set up and just let it lay astray where they're in the admin part that's going on. So I help them in terms of keeping track of what's going on in their business in terms of documentation and best practices and things like that. So I actually speak to him a lot in terms of setting where else I can help, you know, setting up. You can contact the block transformation unit. I pitch it to a lot of persons I know who are on blocks and things like that, you know, to you know, sign up for it. It's not just assistance with I would say items for business. They got courses as well, so you can further education. You know, there's secondary school or even may not have completed such education is not the end. You know, you don't have to feel like an outcast. There are other avenues for you to you know, make an income, build a life, and this is a great initiative, I believe, to help persons get there. You know, I got that number memorized, and I share it as much as I can with persons who I know that are in that life but don't really want. They do it out of necessity rather than they want to. So, you know, I try to show them that, yeah, we could become a barber.
That video just now, one of the things that stuck out to me is that Mr. Carter not only gained something, but he was also willing to help, right? And I think that shows true testament to the kind of people we have coming through these programs. And I'm very confident that we will have more testimonies like that from this group that we have here today. Now we move on to some more presentations, this time to graduates from courses held by the Barbados Community College. And we will also invite the Director of Youth Affairs, Mr. Cleviston Hunt, to present these certificates.
First, we're going to be celebrating those who would have completed the Homemakers program. Nyasha Bolden. Khadija Cadogan White. Sabrina Harvey. Rakayla Jordan Clark. Letitia McLean. Denicia Nelson. Kamisha Felicity Paris. Leandra Walcott. Dwayshawn Yard. And Azaria Young. Azara Young. I now wish to welcome those who would have completed basic trade cookery. Akeem Bess. Jude Chase. Kanita Dottin. Ziete Frederick. Jalea Headley. Amanda Maynard. Rodney Ned. Tanya Sargent. Shakayla Scott. Shanice Snag. Shaquille Romero. And finally, from Basic Trade Cookery, Azania White. Now we have those who would have completed Basic Professional Housekeeping. Charmaine Bavel. Onisha Brathwaite. Shakira Calendar. Shadir Carter Wickham. Ashia Elliott. Shara Ann Fort Amy. Rihanna Goodridge. Sheena Hall. Deborah Jordan. And finally, from the Professional Housekeeping Group, Rihanna Ramsey. Now, food and beverage service. Shamar Andrews. Hulda Brown Hinkson. Najari Douglin Cox. Amandrea Gibson
I'm Andrea Gibson. Rakia Harewood. Natasha Jones. Renako Waldron. Alicia Weeks. And finally, Regina Woodley. Congratulations again to all of the graduates from the Barbados Community College. Let's give them another round of applause. And thank you, Mr. Hunt, for your assistance. Very much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one final video testimony to share with you. While Mr. George Oliver may have had a rocky start, he was able to get his life and business back on track with the help of the Block Transformation Unit. So let's listen to his story.
My name is George Christopher Oliver. I have a checkered past. You know, you don't go deep into it, but a checkered past, like trying to get a certificate of character, be hard. It's like that. I try all my best from time to time to get help. Can't get it. I went through my representative, Mr. Trevor Prescott, who turned me on to Mr. Marcus. And when I came, they told me that when hearing my age, that this thing is about the youth, but I tell you, I need a chance, somebody to give me a chance, and I was given that chance to prove myself, not to nobody, but to myself and the country. You see? And this have become successful to me. Yeah, my name is George Christopher Oliver. Youngsters, I have a checkered past, can do. You know, and then could follow. You don't go deep into it, but checkered past. This thing is not about just trying to get a certificate of character. The youths need somebody to guide them. I try all my best, so from time to time to get help. Using or get hacker and such equipment to help me, and I've been getting help. Even happened to get through Marcus a contract as well. And the youths can get these things. So this thing is not about the guns. It's hard to tell the youths put down the guns. But I'm here to show them where they can take it and place the gun to make the same dollar. You know, we just been hearing the Prime Minister, Miss Martley saying, keep what you want, keep the country green. But how could we keep it green? If I take these tools from Marcus and sell them, the country can get bushy, dirty. But when I keep them and use them, it helps the country to become cleaner, greener, and accepting the tourists. When you help the tourism. This is the friends that can talk to them and tell them that, boy, that man up there got money. I got a gun, let me go and rob. When you get hold, you get captured by the people camera, you go in prison. You left all the work out here. Then you will work in the prison for $2 a week. You left $200 outside. You go into prison, You can beg people, help me, help me, help me. You understand? Then the type of help you need. We need somebody to uplift them. It can't be a one hand, so the government alone cannot do it. Stop now and think where you're headed. You can see a future from using your weed whacker, your lawnmowers, chainsaw. The same noise the gun can keep, you could make it with the weed whacker. And it's safer. It's safer that way.
Well, one inspiring story. He's a very charismatic guy, but please don't let distract you from the fact, the greater point, which is there's chances for everybody at every stage in life. Our final set of graduates have completed various courses hosted by the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology. To assist with the presentation, we welcome Mrs. Joy Adamson, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment, to the stage. I will begin with applied small management. Business management. Applied small business management. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's start over. We begin with applied small business management. Johnny Alves. Rashid Atkins. Sharina Bennett. Walata Edgel. Dominique Green. Simeon John. Janea Jones. DeCarlos Norville. And finally, Crystal Pinder. And now on to basic car maintenance. Isaiah Bob. Rohan Gibson. Tyreek Jarvis Hinkson. Shaquille Stevens. And Tyler Stewart. And now for our graduates from basic carpentry. Rayon Dunner. Emerson Lynch. Dario Paris. Keneal Risbrook. Renat Thornhill. And finally, Kyle Adamson. In beauty therapy, Leandra Bolden. Sachin Boyce. Alexis Clark. Shantina Cadogan. Ronette Daniel. Tamara Francis. Renique Light Griffith. Adonna Maynard. Deidre Murray. Tonaya Walcott Harris. Deandra Worrell. Moving on to block laying and plastering. Rashawn Calendar. Shaquan Calendar. Shaquan Crookendale. Rudolph Greenwich. Jeremiah Stewart. Duran Smith. Delano Taylor. Ethan Watson. And finally, from this group, we have Raheem Weeks. On to cake and pastry making. Akaria Aline. Christina Boyce. Duanisha Combs. Destiny Harris. Lanika Jones. Shanice McLean. Renee Nichols. Ciara Pinder. And finally, Akila Prescott. Thank you, Mrs. Adamson, for your assistance. We will now invite Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the Honorable Charles Griffith, to present the final set of certificates. I will begin with child care and nursery management. Mandy Allister. Gabriella Critchlow. Leah James. Ariel Lavelle. Tatiana Millington. Janelle Motley. Kayla Watts. Ronika Wickham. And finally, Natalia Williams. We move on to computer repairs. Romario Brewster. Ricardo Collymore. Nikolai Ford. Kazia Griffith. Ricardo Griffith. Jaheim Eiffel. Tyrese Sargent. Jason Stevenson. Alex Ward. Danica Watkins. And Rashad Scotland. We move on to housekeeping. Natalie Carmichael. Debbie Carrington Allen. Rashana Corbin. Alicia Ford. Shanice Gollop. Shania Watson. Shania Watson. On to landscaping. Hope Clark. Calvin Dorset. Devon Jilks. Matthew Gittins. Nicholas Tevy Hall. Tito Harper. Kevin Jackman. Jamali Mars. Shakir McLean. Kadeen Norville Toe. Junior Rochford. And the graduates from Photovoltaic Installation. Photovoltaic. Simeon Blades. Davion Briggs. Deron Charles. Sean Coppin. Donico Franklin. Christopher Gibson. Simeon John. Ronaldo Russell. And finally, Joshua Strawn. Plumbing for homeowners. Deshaun Carrington. Dominique Green. Keshem Grant. Gerandi Hall. Stacey Ann Hall. Sharad Herma Stewart. Carl Hines. Shaquesa Rivera. Cody Walcott. Delinger Weeks. Another round of applause for our graduates. I now turn the mic over to the Honorable Charles Griffith.
Good evening. Honorable Prime Minister Mayor Mo Mortley, members of the Cabinet, my PS did not give me the protocol list, so I recognize everybody else. It really is good to be here standing before you, and you've seen a snapshot of what is coming out of Sky Mall in terms of youth development, the block committee, 2023, the two words that I am accustomed to hearing for the last 25 years. from my brother Marcus, who's chairing the block committee. And when Marcus said to you, don't bother, don't bother. But we are doing a number of programs at the ministry to empower people. I often say that it is not only the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment, but I happen to be running the aviation ministry at Sky Mall. Because what we're doing in this country is giving our young people plenty wings to fly. And then providing opportunities, as you would have seen and heard, to do exactly that, to fly. And I will tell you that I really am a happy minister in terms of what is happening. My team at the ministry, we're ready and hard to make sure that we can reach as many people as possible through the programs that are happening. What you were not told is that the young man who's emceeing this evening is a product of another program at the ministry, our Youth MC program. So, yes. And we have made a conscious decision that all of our programs like this one, you will always see one of our young MCs controlling the show. And I'm asking my colleague ministers that when you're having programs to please reach out to us to give these youngsters an opportunity. He mentioned earlier, thank you. He mentioned earlier gratitude. And I want this evening to acknowledge some of those persons who are working in the vineyard at the ministry and I want to thank them on the behalf of the thousands of young people that they would have impacted over the course of time. When I got to the ministry, I felt that I needed a committee who could run fast and hit heavy. And one of the things that I did was to put together a special projects committee. And I will ask them to join me here on stage tonight. Charles Husband, Corey Marshall, and Adriana Waith. And these three were responsible for giving the country our hotline, our national mentorship program that they call Project Protege, and a program that is providing an opportunity for the youngsters in Class 4 who are transitioning to secondary school to be able to walk with a basket of what I call deliverables in terms of conflict resolution, anger management, leadership. These are the things that these three officers would have been responsible for during the course of their tenure at the ministry. Charles is no longer there, Adriana is no longer there, but I want to recognize the outstanding things that they would have done in youth work. So they were able, like I said, to deal with these particular programs. I remember when we did a presentation to Minister Kay McConney, she asked me, where did you get those consultants from? And I said, these are officers at the ministry. The Special Projects Committee from... And the reason that we're here tonight, like I said, in 2023, I spoke to Marcus and I said, I really want to reconstitute the block committee and I need for you to pick a team to do this. And like I mentioned, he said, don't bother. So tonight, I also too want to recognize the block committee that is responsible for all of the youngsters who you're seeing here. Hassani Newton, Shane Haynes, and Marcus Stevens. Like I was saying, they're building Barbados today, block by block. My block committee. That's it, sir. Right. Thank you. That is my piece for the night. Enjoy the rest of this graduation. And congratulations to all of you. I expect to see you at the ministry, knocking on the doors of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. I thank you.
It is always a good thing to see those who are deserving to receive their thanks and their special moments while they're still living. And on the topic of that, I don't have an award to give him, but I would like to express gratitude to Minister Griffith as well for everything that he continues to do for the youth of this country. We have one final set of certificates to be awarded. We'll invite Mr. Marcus Stevens back to the stage to assist us with that. And we begin with front office reception. Sarabi Agard. Darren Aline. Sharina Chase. Kyra Granville. Danielle Hunt. Kiana Hurley. Shanice Jones. Aisha King. Teresia Odell Maloney. Rihanna Watson. Tashana Wilson. And now we move on to bar operations. Kaheem Bishop. Brianna Brown. Tyra Greenwich. And last but not least, Keisha Nurse. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce to you tonight a leader whose vision and dedication has inspired so many across our island and beyond. Please join me in welcoming the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, whose unwavering commitment to the progress and empowerment of the youth of this nation continues to shape a bright future. It is a pleasure and privilege to have her with us tonight to share words of wisdom, encouragement, and hope as we celebrate this remarkable milestone.
Good evening. Good evening. Members of Cabinet, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, but above all else, the graduates who are here from the Block Transformation Committee. I want all of you to stand, please. Just stand, those who are graduating. And I want the rest of us to give you a huge round of applause. Well done to each and every one of you. And to those who did not make it, we're sending our applause to you as well. Please have a seat. Thank you. You know why I asked you to stand? Because you made a choice. You made a choice to be able to add to your life skills that give you options. And this is so important because too often in life, people think about doing something. People dream about doing something, but they don't take the first step or the second step or the third step. And you have come here tonight not only because through the Block Transformation Unit that you have been given and the Ministry of Youth Affairs that you've been given a chance, but you've come here tonight also to be able to use this as a building block yourself for the next step in your life. Some of you are still very young. Some of you are not so young. Some of you are parents. Some of you don't have those responsibilities yet. But what each of you must have in life is purpose. And without purpose, we can end up anywhere and end up doing anything. That can be as great as winning lotto to as bad as ending up in a cemetery. If you don't have a destination and you don't work towards staying on that destination, you can be a victim of life's circumstances. And I want each of you to remember tonight, because tonight reinforces not an action taken by your parent to get you into school in compliance with the Education Act. Tonight represents steps taken by you when afforded the opportunity by the Block Transformation Unit. And I want tonight to salute Marcus and the rest of the team for hitting the road and going out there and making the case to be able to persuade each of you that there are opportunities in this country if you only are ready to take them. You chose to take them, and you chose to give your life purpose. What is important is that you recognize that there's never an end to learning, and that even as old as you get, and George, where are you, sir? I hear you're in the audience. Please stand. I want to salute you. I want to salute you for the authenticity in which you spoke, for the manner in which you spoke, because sometimes people need to hear it from others who have walked the walk. And coming from me or coming from someone else who has not known what it is to trod that road, it does not have the same value. And I equally know that it takes courage to do what you did, and I thank you for that. Thank you. You have a turn of phrase that I feel that should be shared with all Bajans, because when you reminded us that the sound of the weed whacker makes the same sound as the other thing that we don't want to hear, but it earns you. And when you remind us that when you end up in prison, you are making $2 a week and leaving, you say 200, but I'm here to tell you that the minimum wage is more than 200. So it's more than that you're leaving on the side of the road. I just want to share some things with you, because when you leave here at Ilara Court tonight, you're going back to your homes, you're going back to your communities, you're going back to your blocks. The beauty of life is when we reflect a generosity of spirit. If it's working for you, don't keep it for yourself alone. Share it with the other people around you who may not have been as brave as you to make the step. And in some instances, Charles talked about giving people a second chance, but in many instances, we are giving people a first chance. And this is why we have come to be elected, to be able to make lives easier for each of you as far as possible. But as you heard George say, the government can't do it alone. You as an individual have to be prepared to take that step. And in this country, we have made it possible to have a range of programs at all levels for you to become the best that you can be. Somebody asked me earlier this evening, what makes me proud to be a Bajan? Why am I happy to be a Bajan? And I said to them that I grew up in a Barbados that reinforced three things in you. One, that you needed to own a piece of the rock. You need to own a piece of land. Because when you have that piece of land, your relationship with the society, with the country changes. You have something to lose. You have something to leverage. If something gets wrong with you or one of the children later in life, you can go back and borrow on the land, go back and borrow up on the house. Two, that in Barbados, regardless of where you are born, if you can access education and training, you can be anything that you want to be. And don't let anybody fool you. The majority of people in this country, as we go to celebrate next year, 60 years of independence, the majority of people who come to work every day to build out this country, all of us are within 1, 2, 3 generations of poverty. And therefore, the ability to receive education and use it is the most important thing that we have given our citizens and must continue always. It should never matter where you are born. It should never matter what level of skills you have, because there are welders and there are masons and there are carpenters out there working for more than bank tellers and administrative officers in government. There are landscapers who make a decent living and earn far more than other people who work doing shop clerks or other things that may appear to be more glorious to people. I want you to remember these things. And once the work is decent, and once the work is honest, then by all means, do not let anybody distract you from doing that work. Anything in life that comes too fast goes just as fast. And fast money, fast life, fast death. If it is too good to be true, believe you me, it is too true, too good to be true. And people, we've seen enough examples in life of that. You can do what you want, but never as long as you want, because it catches up with you. This government took decisions to establish a Barbados Youth Advance Corps, because we recognize that separate from those who go immediately into Barbados Community College or to the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology, or to those who may want to go into teaching, that we needed to create another mechanism at scale beyond the modest numbers of the Barbados Youth Service that had, 200 people or so, in order for us to create a bridge for many of our young people who may not yet be ready or who may need additional assistance before they can secure the work that they may want to or that they may need to if they, by that age, are already rearing and in charge of families. But we didn't stop there. We recognized at the beginning of the last term, 3 years ago, that there was going to be a shortage in a range of skills in this country. And we also implemented, therefore, the Construction Gateway program. And I want you to continue to urge those in your community who have basic capacity but don't know necessarily how to do it, how to be a mason, how to be a carpenter, how to be a welder, all of the different things, how to be a tiler. And we see from today that many of these skills are now gender neutral because women and men riding and using bobcat, tiling, doing masonry, etc. But we did this because we recognized that the country would face a construction boom as it is doing now. And with the best will in the world, even if we were to take everybody who could work in construction, we probably would still need more skills there. Similarly, in the tourism sector and the hotel sector. And therefore, there are opportunities for some of you to take additional courses to prepare yourself for meaningful and sustained work in these areas. In addition to that, we also, at the National Transformation Initiative, the NTI, not only offered courses in citizenship, because you need to know about your country. You need to know who you are, where you come from, and where your children can go. And if you don't know it, how you going to route your children to do it? So that NTI does the citizenship module that we will encourage everybody to do. But separate from that, there are 15,000 courses available on the NTI platform through Coursera that the government of Barbados makes available for free. For free. Just as you go to SGPI for free, just as you go to BCC for free, just as you go to the University of the West Indies for free. And I can tell you that not a lot of countries give their citizens these same opportunities. The Bible tells us about talents. Do not waste them. And you have an opportunity in Barbados that many others across the world do not have. I ask you to encourage others and for you also to recognize that having started the process of learning and going on courses, that you continue throughout your life to give your options, because the worst thing in life is not to have options when opportunity presents itself. But it wasn't only that. Santia has started the Highway Beautification Program, and we trained a lot of people when we stopped the ASH program, which was on, as you know, for 3 years. We didn't just send home people. We asked those who wanted to come back in the program into training programs, and whether it's gabion building, tree trimming, a whole host of other skills, we did that. There's one area, for example, that I don't see, and I hope that the SJPI, in addition to the decision that we've now made to give you a welding program, a dedicated welding program, because you will find work not only in Barbados, but throughout the entire region if you have skills. But the other one that I'd like to see, which we have a history of excellence in, but for which there are too few people today practicing, is joinery. And the truth is that if we have more top-class joiners, then the amount of furniture that we are importing can significantly be reduced. And if you look across the households, not just the plantation houses, the chattel houses, and you see the Morris chairs and the tub chairs and the single-end couches, those were made by your great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents in this country. And we've lost that art, and we need to get it back. And we need to have, everybody, how many people go in a church that was built before 1900? You go into the church and you see every line in it perfect. And you wonder how these people did it without the technology that young people have today. You go into buildings built in the 20th and 21st century, and you got crooked lines. I give you that example because there must be pride in whatever you do. Regardless of what you do it to the best of your ability. And if you feel that you're not quite there, then ask for help to be able to improve. There is nothing wrong in admitting that you don't know. There is nothing wrong in asking for help. If you do those things, you can only get better and stronger. And I ask you to remember that. There is no shame in it at all. If I don't know as Prime Minister, I can ask a question. I asked the Attorney General up to this evening to check out something for me that I don't know. I serve as Attorney General and I still didn't know. I asked him to check it out for me. I don't have shame in asking about how to do something so long as it is legal and so long as it is not immoral. But it wasn't only in these training programs that we've tried to create opportunities for you. How many in here know about the Trust Loan Program? Too few people. And therefore it tells us a story that, Charles, that government needs to be joined up and that what we continue regrettably to have is siloed approaches. And the Trust Loan Program was a program started by this government to give people a first chance in circumstances where they can't get it from the credit union or they can't get it from the bank, because when you go in there, people want to know who your mother is, who your father is, want to sign away your whole life. And we said, stop. We will give people who come for tax incentives a chance. And we still have to trust them to hope that they do what they say they will do. So if we can do it for those people, then why can't we give all Bajans a chance to be able to develop a credit record? And how do you do it? We will lend you up to $5,000. You got to come in, you got to show the project, you got to go through some kind of financial literacy training so that you know how to balance the books, how to cost out what you're selling, so you don't end up losing money when the day comes. If you pay back that money, we trust you to pay it back, but it then allows you to go to the next level so that instead of being able to borrow $5,000, you can borrow $10,000. And you pay that back again. You are now ready to go to Fund Access or the credit union or the bank because you have what? A credit history. If you don't have a credit history, people are going to look at you and say, but why should I lend you money? Why I know who you is? That, therefore, is an important part of the whole ecosystem that we are creating to make it possible for you to be masters of your own fate and firm craftsmen. It wasn't only that, though. Ryan Strawn, who's in the Ministry of Finance, will tell you that we have been resolute, and we did it first with amending the previous legislation, and now under the new Procurement Act, we carved out a space for small business people, particularly for those who want to work in their own districts. And we feel that it should not be necessary. We should not have people move from St. Lucie to St. Philip to be able to fix something at a school or to repair something in a school. Because if we have the skills in the surrounding communities, not only is it less money for the person to come and fix it, so they're spending less and getting more profit, but secondly, if they do bad work, who can hold them accountable? The same people in the community in which they live. And they say, my man, you work at that school and you were supposed to do X, Y, Z. How you can left the place looking so? So that the community becomes the guarantor for quality assurance in terms of the type of work that you're doing. Now, we promised it before we came to government. We've delivered it. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm told that there are even some of you who have even started to give back to schools in the communities in which you live as a result of the training that you received, particularly in landscaping and in the cleaning of the schools. So I want to encourage you that government has a program that creates opportunities for you. But it doesn't stop there. On Tuesday, the Parliament will be dealing with the Health Services Amendment, which will create an obligation on all owners of property to keep their properties clean. Yes, George, keep their properties clean and green. That is going to mean that either you do it yourself and hire the people that have the weed whackers and have the landscaping businesses, or if you don't do it, that government will have to do it for you, and you will have to pay us back what we paid, plus a fine for the fact that we had to do it for you, a penalty for the fact that we had to do it for you. This is going to create business opportunities for many of you that are involved in landscaping. And the one sure thing we know is that when rain falling, what's going to happen? Grass growing. So that the law now creates another business opportunity for those of you who have been brave enough to go and learn the skills and to be able to use them. Now, there are some soft skills that I can talk to you straight that you need to have. If you're going on people's property or you're going to work for people, what you have to be? Respectful and polite. Because the worst thing is to get into a quarrel and then lose the little pick that you have, either as a job or as a contract, and these things matter. And very often we don't spend enough time talking about how to carry yourself and how to do these things. And that is why we've insisted that going forward, this has to be part and parcel of the training, as well as financial literacy. Whatever it is, however small, try to put aside something and save it. Because when you save it, every month for the last 30-something years, I put aside a little something and save and don't touch it. Because you don't know when a rainy day is going to come, especially if you have children and you need to be able to draw on it. So saving must be a part and parcel of your discipline for work. I asked you all of these things because at the end of the day, I end as I started. You made a choice. You made a choice to be able to empower yourself. When we came to office, we spoke about the RERE program. And many people may not remember it because in those early days of restructuring, people thought that we were just using words for the sake of using words. We asked people in Barbados to retool. We said we're going to empower you. We said we're going to retrain you. And we said we're going to enfranchise you. The actions and the programs that we have taken across government have been designed to give you chances. The part of the deal that will secure everything is not us just putting these programs there, but people like yourselves being brave enough to come forward and to be prepared to be trained or retrained, and to be prepared to undertake opportunities that can enfranchise you, a big fancy word for simply saying to give you an opportunity to own something in your community and in your country. If you can stay the course, and if you can remember, it's not just about one-off things, because more often in life, it is about staying focused, the consistency of effort, being persistent. Not every day gonna be sunny. Some days gonna be hard as hell. Some days gonna be rainy. Some days you're gonna feel vexed and frustrated. There ain't one body in here that don't feel frustrated with a job on one day of the year at least. And some 1 week, some 1 month, and some perhaps even longer. That's life. But what you need to know is that when you have, and I can tell you what they told me when I was young, when you see an obstacle, suss it out, look at it, and determine whether you could go over, whether you could go under, whether you could go around, or sometimes if you just got to go through. Remember that. Obstacles are not meant to stop you. And I'm going to give you this last one. Fear is the most paralyzing emotion in life. And I have shared this so many times that I could as well share it with you. Because I remember as a young student, second-year student in London, people used to come into the apartment, and in days They never used to bill you monthly for the telephone. Those were the days before WhatsApp and all of these free things that you can communicate, when you had to pay to use the phone. And I didn't know what the hell to do when I get a bill for £1,000 and my father giving me £360 a month to live, to do everything. And I decide after about 4 weeks of not sleeping good, can't sleep, don't know how I can pay this thing, even if I got to go and work for summer. Summer is months away, but the money got to be paid now if the phone bill can get cut off. And eventually a Sunday, I summon up the will and tell him, Daddy, I want to talk to you tomorrow about something. I didn't tell him what it is, but I just tell him I want to talk to you tomorrow about something. Tomorrow come, I call back. He said, yes, tell me. I said, no. And I haunting and I stuttering and I doing everything. And eventually I came out and said, look, I got this phone bill for £1,000. I don't know what the hell to do. They're going to cut off the phone, blah, 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 blah. He said, that's all? I thought you was going to tell me you're pregnant. I lost 4 weeks sleep. I give you that example. I lost 4 weeks sleep because of the fear of how to handle and what would be the consequences. And I learned then, at 19 years old, that anytime a situation confronts you, assess it. Work out what's the worst that could happen. And once you work out what is the worst that can happen, determine and settle a plan for how you are going to manage it. And I share that with you because in this country, one thing that we have lost is the opportunities for people from different age groups and different backgrounds to mix together in common spaces. Sports can allow it, but regrettably not enough people are involved. Culture can allow it, but not enough people are involved. Church can do it, but once again, not enough people are going to church or to the mosque or wherever. We have to find ways of raising our young people, not just our children, because we believe that when a person becomes an adult, or sometimes they believe that when they become an adult, they don't need to learn anything more and they don't need to be able to take guidance from anyone. That is a fallacy. It is not true. And as old as you get, there is always wisdom in listening to someone else and taking another opinion. So my friends, I want to end by telling you congratulations again. I want to say to you that there could be no better use of Elara Court than to bring you here to celebrate your accomplishments. And I want to thank the Ministry of Youth Affairs for ensuring that people who would not otherwise have gone forward be given the chance. And I'm told that there are another 250 people who have just started various programs this month. 272? Sorry, 272. But I would like, and I give you the assurance in the ministry, that if it is 272 or 500 or 1,000, we will find the money. Because if this is what gives our people purpose and allows them to make choices, then we are doing what we were elected to do. God bless you all, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you for your words, Madam Prime Minister. We're almost at the end of this evening's formalities, but first, we welcome two individuals from the block committee, Mr. Shane Haynes and Mr. Hassani Newton, to deliver the vote of thanks before we go. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Honorable Mayor of Moore Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, members of Cabinet, members of the Senate, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, and all other specially invited guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate the success of Project Dawn and the incredible journey of our over 200 graduates who have completed their technical and vocational training. As we come to the end of this memorable ceremony, it is essential that we take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to all those who made this initiative possible. Let me first thank you, Madam Prime Minister, for your generosity in hosting us today at your residence. Your unwavering support for youth development has profoundly impacted this project and countless others. Your leadership and commitment to empowering at-risk youth through programs like Project Dawn have truly made a difference in the lives of these young people. We are incredibly grateful for your continued advocacy for the youth of this nation. A special thank you must also be extended to Honorable Charles Griffith, Minister of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment. As the brainchild of this remarkable initiative, your vision, guidance, and passion for youth empowerment have been the driving force behind Project Dawn. Your leadership in establishing this unit within the ministry has laid a foundation for youth to gain the skills they need to build a brighter future for themselves and our country. We also want to express a heartfelt thanks to the members of Cabinet, Parliament, senators, and members of the Diplomatic Corps for your continued support and presence. Your involvement shows the importance of cross-collaboration between all sectors of our society to create opportunities for youth development. To the permanent secretaries, principals, tutors, and facilitators of the implementing agencies, thank you for your diligent work behind the scenes. Your strategic oversight and commitment to quality have been key to ensuring that this program runs smoothly and achieve its goals. We appreciate your continued efforts in supporting youth initiatives. A special thanks also goes to the Director of Youth Affairs and the heads of departments within the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment for your leadership in managing the day-to-day aspects of this project. Your dedication to nurturing our youth and creating environments for them to thrive cannot be overstated. I'll hand over to Shane.
We also want to recognize the Special Events Coordinator in the Prime Minister's Office, Darian Yearwood, for your meticulous planning and attention to detail in assisting with the execution of this event. Your professionalism has ensured that today's celebration is both memorial and meaningful. To the parents and families of the graduates, your support and belief in the potential of these young individuals have been crucial. Today, as we celebrate their accomplishments, we also celebrate the love, encouragement, and strength you have shown in guiding them every step of the way. To our graduates, congratulations. You have shown incredible determination and resilience in completing this training. You are now equipped with the skills and confidence to shape your own futures, and we are proud of all that you have achieved. This is just the beginning, and we have no doubt you will continue to excel and make us all proud. We must also thank the organizing committee, Mrs. Titus, Ms. Walcott, Mr. Brown, members of the technical team, decorators, NCC, and NCF. As all the testimonies and video clips showed us earlier, the driving force behind Project Dawn must be highlighted. Mr. Marcus Stephen, thank you for transforming, empowering, and building tomorrow today, block by block. Blessings, brother. Members of the media, thank you for your positive coverage of the event and the good work of Project Dawn. Your role in shining a light on these efforts is vital to inspiring others and sharing the success stories of our young people with the nation. A big thank you to the caterers who will provide us with the food and drink for the mix and mingle that will follow. We encourage you to mix and mingle, take advantage of these beautiful grounds, and take pictures to remember this special event. Finally, let us congratulate our MC, Teron Durant. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all being a part of this significant occasion and for your continued commitment to the future of our youth. We will continue to create opportunities for our young people. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Please remain seated to allow the Prime Minister and other dignitaries to exit. You are requested to take guidance from the ushers. Wait a minute. I mingle too. Thank you.